So what we want to do is model our fields to match up with the content here. And the way we're going to do that is with a custom content type. Let's go back to our site, and we can see a list of our current content types by going to Structure, Content Types. Drupal comes with 2 by default. We've used the basic page for a couple of pages already, and also article, which we won't be using throughout the series. We can look at the field structure of one of these content types by clicking Manage Fields next to it. This one just has one field, body. You may also remember that there is a title field. The title field is something that can't be removed, so it doesn't show up here in the Manage Fields section. I'm going to go back to content types, and what we want to do now is to create a new content type for our tour types. So I'll click Add Content Type. For the name, I'm going to put Tour Type. For the description, I'm going to put Use Tour Types for information about the kinds of tours that we do. And then let's go through all of these options here. So in the submission form settings, we can set the label for the title. In the case of our tour types, title makes sense. Preview before submitting, we can make it optional or required or disable it completely. Optional is a fair default. And then we can put some instructions here. And it says that this text will show up at the top of the page when creating or editing content of this type. This may be useful later, but we'll leave it blank for now. Under publishing options, leaving it as published by default means that when you fill out the add content form, the button at the bottom says save and publish. If this was unchecked, it would say save as unpublished, but you'd still be able to select the other option. It just determines which one is selected by default. Unchecking this would be useful if we have some content that needs to go through an editorial process first. I'm going to uncheck promoted to front page. We're not using that home page list anymore, but I'm going to uncheck this anyway, just to make it clear. We can also change the sticky at top of lists default option, which we'll also leave unchecked, and we can create a new revision by default. Revisions can be very useful when you have multiple people working on the same piece of content, and you need to be able to see what the changes are between the different versions. Right now, we have one creator, which is us, so we'll leave this unchecked for now. Under display settings, it says display author and date information. We'll leave this checked so we can see what it does. And under menu settings, we can set which menu this content will display under. We'll talk in depth about menus later, but this is basically saying that we can add new content and create links in menus to point to that content. For this type of content, we have no need for that, so let's uncheck it for now to reduce the number of options that are available on the edit form. I'll click Save and Manage Fields.